If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who might you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today to review the 1993 family film The Secret Garden, based on the novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett, directed by Agnieszka Holland. I'm gonna guess I have said her name wrong for the past week. I'm sorry. The Secret Garden is a kind of strange movie because I honestly remember this movie. I don't remember seeing it. Now, I know it for a fact I have never seen this film before. I distinctly remember this for one good reason. When I would watch cartoons after school, there would be commercials for this movie and A Little Princess for a long time. I remember these commercials for a long time. This is why, I remember certain scenes in the film because they would constantly sell this movie for VHS when I was watching cartoons around the time. Now, yes, if you guys know when my birth date is, that means, yes, I was watching cartoons when I was 11, 12, 13. Yes, I know. But come on. Animaniacs? Hilarious, right? And Batman the Animated Series. Come on, guys. Great series. I'm not even going to justify it. Anyway. So when I was looking at lists of films that remind people about fall, this movie came up, and I was like, you know what? I think it's about time I at least give this a shot. And I was actually surprised how the ratings are. This is adults who rate these movies. I'm looking at the ratings right now for IMDb and for Letterboxd. And Letterboxd has it at a 3.6 out of 5, which is really good. And I think IMDb has it like a 7.3, another really good rating. So I figured, you know what? There has to be something about this movie that is worth watching. So let's get into it. Let's get into the review of The Secret Garden, directed by Agnieszka Holland. But before that, let's get into the plot. A young British girl, played by Kate Maberly, who was born and raised in India, loses her neglectful parents in an earthquake. She is returned to England to live at her uncle's castle. Her uncle is very distant due to the loss of his wife 10 years ago. Neglected once again, she begins exploring the estate and discovers a garden that has been locked and forgotten. Aided by one of the servants' boys, she begins restoring the garden and eventually discovers some of the other secrets in the manor. Okay, so let me start off by this. If you've seen commercials like I have in this film, you'll recognize one thing. This film looks gorgeous. It has just gorgeous colors, visuals, and lighting. That's because it has cinematography by Roger Deakins. If you know who Roger Deakins is, he is considered probably the best cinematographer out there. And I didn't even realize he did this movie. So when his name came up on the screen with the credits, I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand why this movie is so good looking. And I'm not even just talking about scenes in the garden, which are luscious. They are just, oh god, the colors of green and blue is just stunning to look at. I'm also talking about scenes in the manor where it's dark and dreary. And when they have light in certain spots in the film, it is just visually an astounding movie to watch. This is a movie for kids, and it seems like this is a film that has much more detail and nuance to it when it comes to its color palette and lighting than I think films that are meant for adults do nowadays. Now, another thing that this film does really well is it has the right mix of magic and mature storytelling. This film is centered around a young 10-year-old girl. As such, this film, I think, is meant for that specific group. The film is meant for young girls. However, I think that if you're watching this with your daughter or you're watching this with kid, I think you're going to get more out of this as well because there's a lot of themes that the movie has that it really deals with very well that I think as an adult you will also appreciate. There's themes involving Mary, also her cousin, and then other themes of neglect, abuse, stuff like that are in the movie. This is a PG movie, so it's not graphic in that end. It is very interesting how they deal with these types of themes. But if I'm going to be honest, this is definitely more for kids than it is adults, mainly because of the way that the kids are in this movie. There's still a feeling of childlike whimsy to the movie, but it's just grounded to a point where adults will see what it is, whereas kids will probably think there's something more grand going on. But that's kind of why I think this film is still good today, and why I think more people, if they give it a shot, will really like this movie, because it has enough for where kids will probably look at it and go, oh, it's magic, it's this and that, and it's simple enough for them to enjoy, but adults will get the nuance from the movie that kids will not see. And then maybe when the kids get older and watch it again, they will see that depth in the movie. It just won't be apparent to them because the film doesn't dwell on those types of thematics, or they do it in such a subtle way that it's not obvious what's going on. It's not as upsetting. So I have no footnotes. Let's get into what I think. Overall, I am definitely going to recommend The Secret Garden. I think this is a gorgeous movie based on the visuals alone. But I also think there's a bit of artistry and good thematics in this movie. I think that if an adult had to sit down and watch this, they would enjoy it too. Would I say to an adult to take time into watching this right away? Probably not. I would say that if you have kids, specifically if you have a young girl who is into nature, I would say definitely have them watch this movie. I think they will really enjoy this movie. Unless they can't handle the sadness that's in the movie. So if they can't handle that, maybe not. But I think that if you have a young girl that really likes nature and can handle some of the deeper themes in the movie, I think she will come away really enjoying this. But also, if you're an adult watching this with them, you will enjoy it too. So overall, I recommend The Secret Garden. This is the 1993 version. It's available for rent on most places. If you search it on Google, it says it's for free. Google has got that wrong because the thing that's free on Amazon is the BBC movie that they made I think around that same time. So the one I'm talking about is the one that was made by Warner Brothers in 93 that was produced by Francis Ford Coppola. This is the movie I'm talking about. So if you're going to check this out and you Google it and it says free, that's not the right one. That also being said, I would love to see this in 4K, so check it out if you are interested. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. Alright, so for Thursday, me and Zero are going to be reviewing Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Saturday, I'll be reviewing Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, directed by Nicholas Meyer. And then next Tuesday, we're going to start watching some October films, which means it's Halloween. God, I hate Halloween. I probably said this last year too. I don't get Halloween, so I'm not into it. But I'm still trying to get into the ooky spooky season by watching some darker films, not necessarily scary. I'm going to try some scary films, actually. But I'm going to start with a film that, I'm not the biggest fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I do get why people love that movie so much. But there was a follow-up to that. And this was not made by Henry Selick, but Tim Burton was involved with this one. And this is The Corpse Bride, directed by Tim Burton and Mike Johnson. So tune in on Thursday where me and Zero are going to be reviewing Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Saturday, Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, directed by Nicholas Meyer. And Tuesday, Corpse Bride, directed by Tim Burton and Mike Johnson. I am The Wiz, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.